So the new one is out-1. So when I go home, I have a lot of fun stuff to do. So once again, I'm going to synchronize the video and the audio. I'm going to minimize the window now. 3, 2, 1, click, and I'm going to resize or restore the screen. 3, 2, 1, click. Okay, so that should be enough clue for me to resynchronize the audio with the video. There's nothing more annoying than watching a video clip and then the audio and the video are off by say 2 or 3 seconds. Then you see the action first and then you hear the explanation, or vice versa. I'm hoping that they won't drift too much over an hour and in 20 minutes, because sometimes they drift just enough so that by the end of the lecture, even though at first they're all fully synchronized, eventually they will drift apart by a few seconds. Then you get the annoying problem again. All right, so let's start with this particular one. What do we want to do in this case? I mean, how can we tackle this problem? Let's read the question first. Immediately after line 18, x has a value of 35, which means post 18 is 35 in this case. Derive the possible value or values of x before line 16. In other words, if post 18 is that x equals to 35 exactly, what is pre-16? Okay, yep.
Supposed to be equal to 3 or equal 35.
That is right. That's exactly the answer. Then the question is, okay, be sure to show your reasoning and use logical steps to show how the answer is derived. Okay. So once you suspect that's an answer, then you have to basically show okay, but how do you know that that's the answer? Which is actually the easy part. Coming up with the correct suspicion is the difficult part. Okay.
Do you have to do it twice?
Hmm?
Do you have to do it twice, one for each answer? Or you
Yeah.
can do them both together?
You have to do it twice. There's no. You can do it. You can combine it into one single one. Let me show you how to do that. Or let me show you what I'm expecting. When it comes to questions of this nature. Okay. Okay. So this is how should I call this? Practice exam, final exam for spring 10. Okay. Make sure we save the file. Well, even if I don't save the file, since the video screen and also the audio is recorded, you guys can always reproduce the file. But redundancy is good. Practice exam spring10.txt. All right. So what we want to do is to basically say, okay, if we just go forward with our usual stuff, okay, what can we do? In other words, using our usual stuff, okay, saying that pre-16 is true, which means let's just say that we don't know anything, okay, and we are moving forward. Can we solve that problem? Can we derive post-18 just knowing that pre-16 is true? Yeah. Well, the answer is yes. We have done that quite a few times already. But let's just go ahead and practice, all the stuff that we have done so far. So that makes pre-17 equals to pre-16, and the condition is true. So not very surprising. And since pre-16 is true, and true and anything is just that anything, because true is kind of like 1 in a multiplication. 1 times anything is just anything. So in this case, pre-17 is just if x is less than 17. Once we know what is pre-17, can we derive post-17? Well, yeah. Well, that's kind of what we did a little bit earlier. Starting with a pre-condition, coming with a post-condition when the right-hand side is reversible. So we say f of x is the right-hand side of line 17. F prime of x is just going to be the inverse of that, which in this case is x minus 32. Okay, is that making any sense? Okay, and then we say since f of x has an inverse function, we use the substitution rule. Okay, once we know that we have to use the substitution rule and also the inverse function, everything is pretty easy. We just say it is a substitution based on 317, take all the occurrences of x and replace those by the inverse function of f applied to x. Just like that. And then we just go ahead and carry out, the whole thing. 317 is this one here. Just copy and paste it. We take all the occurrences of x and replace all of that by x minus 32, just like that. And in the end, we end up with x minus 32 is less than 17, right? Because we're replacing x with x minus 32, which also means if you flip it around, x is less than 49, I think. Is that making any sense? Yes. Okay. And then we have post 18 to deal with. Now, post 18 is a little bit, funky because we don't have an else in this case, but it really is not too bad because we basically can say the condition is false to begin with, so we can say it is not the case that the x is less than 17, which we'll get to this point immediately, or that condition is true, which means it will come from the other path, and the post condition of the other path is that x is less than 19. Is that okay? Which also means that you can just simplify this a little bit and say x is greater than or equal to 17, or x is less than 49. Okay. So that's how we move forward, starting with line 16 and ending up with line 18. Yep.
You know the f of x is x minus 32. Why is it x is 32 plus x? It's negative x. Why is it just 32 plus x?
What? Huh?
Inverse function.
The inverse function? Why is it x minus 32?
Yeah.
Because that will undo the effect of x plus 32.
He's talking about the arrow, or the arrow.
The arrow? You mean this one here?
Oh, I thought it was negative x.
No, that's the arrow. That's just that's me being lazy and not try to type in the proper arrow and use less than as a dash to mean the left arrow. We have been using that a little bit in this class. Okay. Okay. Now, how is that helping us? Well, first of all, the question is 35 within the range that we should be expecting?
Yes.
So you just have a range for us to test the numbers on.
Sorry?
Don't you just pick, you have a range for you to test your, your assumption that it's 35 or 3?
Mm-hmm. Okay, there are two ways to look at this. Okay, one way to look at it is just to use your intuition, which most of you probably did when you figure out, okay, x can be 3 or 35. Okay, once you use your intuition and go, okay, there are two paths to get to here. If I take this path and get to here and it is 35, that means the original thing is 35 to begin with. But on the other hand, if I take the other path, that means the original thing has to be 3 because we had to add 32 to it to become 35. Right? That's basically what you guys did to figure that out. Okay. The next question now is, what is this telling you? Okay, what is this 4 telling you?